But the reality is, and we don't talk about this enough, the reason why so many men are depressed, right? And people might get mad at me for saying this. Depression a lot of times is a byproduct of your inadequacies and you being incompetent, right? As a man, you're put on earth to go out and create something, okay? A man's legacy and name is typically tied to what he did while he was alive, right? And when you get a birthday and you get a death date, and in between on your tombstone there's that dash. What the hell did you do during that dash? Did you create a name for yourself, or is no one going to remember you? And the reality is, most of you are going to die. Nobody's going to give a fuck who you are. But what I'm going to say is, can you die today and be happy with what you've created? Will people remember you? Will people respect you? Will people say good things about you when you die? And the reality is, for most of you guys watching right now, the answer is probably no. Well, we need to turn that into a yes, okay? And when I tell people that, then that's when they snap back into reality and say, damn, I really haven't accomplished anything. And what people don't get is that as a man, you, right, your whole value comes from creating something. So if you don't create anything, a byproduct of that is, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I don't know where I am in life. That's because reality is smacking you in the face with sadness, telling you you're inadequate. Go out there and do something. What the hell are you doing here? Whacking off to porn. What the hell are you doing over here? Eating yourself into the depression. What the hell are you doing over here? Playing video games all day. You're not doing anything, which is why you feel sad. You feel sad because you haven't created anything. The whole world that we're in nowadays, all these inventions, etc., it was created by men to overcome being sad. You must create something as a man to be happy. Women don't have to worry about that. Women, their pleasure comes from creating a family, right? But they're not going to want to create a family with you if you're a loser. That's just not how it goes. So a lot of times when guys are sad, it's not because I'm depressed or I'm sad, I have this mental disorder. No, you're a fucking bitch. That's what it comes down to. But we don't want to tell people this in the West. We want to make them feel better, consolidate. Oh, go to therapy, blah, 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 blah. You know what? You want some therapy? Go to the fucking gym, okay? Make some goddamn money. Become more attractive. Take care of yourself. I promise you're going to feel a lot better than sitting here on a fucking couch with some loser. Tell me about your problems. Well, I don't know. I feel like this. Well, shut the fuck up. You feel that way because it's a byproduct of you being a loser. It's your masculinity reminding you, what are you doing? Are we going to have, is this dash going to be something? Are people going to be able to respect us at our funeral? Are people going to speak about us? Is anyone going to give a fuck if I die? And the reality is, for most people watching this, no one will give a fuck if you die. So you need to make it where people will care. And they will.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Nerd Chronicles here. The socially awkward nerd Christian Paul has just entered the building. This is going to be in regards to one of the red pill ideals that a lot of red pill gurus mainly discuss about actually helping men get themselves outside suicide. And they have the claim that men actually lead the highest in terms of suicide rates. Basically, actually, they commit actual more suicides up in the United States at the very least than women. And given all of the statistics from what I'm seeing from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, it's definitely true, right? But just because the end result is actually true, given all the occurrences actually done, doesn't really fully mean you have to actually take the whole stuff at face value. Again, I've studied applied mathematics and statistics. I received my master's degree in applied mathematics and statistics, and my I was doing PhD candidacy in mathematics around a couple years ago. So I have some decency, I have some knowledge in regards to the information that I am about to bring you, right? You're seeing all the statistics that you're seeing here with all the suicides that's come up by year with the suicide trends that you see with the CDC. If you actually click on the link, they'll actually give you like a table that's recorded, but also take note that the full year, for the most recent full year that's basically out, is mainly 2022 and 2023 because they're still being recorded. 2024, the numbers for 2022 would definitely be official. So normally the most recent that's definitely confirmed will actually come by with the recorded statistics for 2 years before the present date. So that's how the CDC basically modeled their data based off the number of recorded suicides. It's actually given by the U.S. Census Bureau based on each and every state that records the number of suicides. And they give that data toward the U.S. Census Bureau, which in turn they would give it to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But also understand, those suicides that's recorded, not every single suicide recorded is actually a suicide. You don't want to try and take that notion at face value. Yes, in a lot of cases, suicide is actually done and actually confirmed, basically by family members and all. But there could be some cases where they were actually labeled the death, the label of the unaliving, excuse me, a suicide, right? Or like, self-deletion, if you will. Basically, the suicide ordeal, they would label the death as a suicide, just to try and cover up their means or actually try to cover their accountability. There could be some corruption going on, or the government will actually try to actually label that as a suicide to give cover toward a potential murder, where it could be like strange fruit or someone literally being hung from a tree with everything hand size coming from like all the way up high, down up on top of a tree, coming from the ground. Not say it's coming off of a building. It could be, we don't know. But they'll try to make sure they'll conceal as much as they can to actually give the cover up as best as they possibly could and label it there so that they don't trigger uprising literally down the line. So please also take note of that as well. You have to be very careful not to let those statistics thoroughly mislead you. Always figure out the how, always figure out the why when it comes to these types of ordeals. Now, if we do scroll down all the statistics, again, I'm not going to really go too deep into all the statistics if we deals with all the comparisons between 2021 with the final tally of unalivings, and then you got the 2022 provisional deaths that's actually coming by, basically going throughout the year of 2022. For more information, the actual link is literally up on the top left corner of me doing the screen recording below. You can definitely look at that yourself, and I'll definitely post that link up in the description as well, to see all the comparisons and all of the table sheets that mainly shows all these issues that are mainly here. All right, this is something that you literally need to look up. The protective factors that you come by, basically gonna actually agree with what the CDC actually is mainly saying, but I'm not gonna even go through all these lines line by line. I'm ready to tell you this stuff from based on my personal experience as a black man living with autism spectrum disorder, living with Asperger's syndrome that actually deals with anxiety and depression mainly every single day. And the folks that mainly tell you, oh, depression isn't real, you gotta get depression out your head and all that stuff. Cap, hogwash.
I say, listen, you get to roll out, be fat, be out of shape, be broke, be unimportant with no girlfriend. And instead of the world thinking you're a loser, you get to say, I'm not a loser, I'm depressed. It's a shield. Yeah. And I say, that's why you don't want to lose your shield. Because now you have accountability. Now you have performance. It's a cop out. F it off. I don't give a shit if it's real or not. We're not about that. We're talking about success here. Get rid of your excuses. Stop defending the thing that's ruined your life and get to work. And every time anyone has ever listened to me in history, ever, every single one of them's transformed their lives and messaged me positive messages afterwards. Every single time. That's why I'm antidepressant. Because that pill ain't going to fix you the way becoming the man you wish you were is going to fix you. It's crazy. And then they're going to take one little soundbite. Tate doesn't care about mental health. He thinks depressed people is some bullshit. And they're going to apply it to me. I really do believe, and I state this almost with a degree of achievement, I'm the most misunderstood man on the planet.
Okay? Because depression is not a one-size-fits-all thing. It affects each and every single individual, man or woman, differently based on how he or she sees the world and based on what his or her mentality mainly is. Okay? Now, in certain cases, it could be certain cases where they have like some trouble really trying to get by. They don't really want to bother anybody, and they get depressed due to like certain circumstances, or they deal with like some form of trauma in their life, or they feel like they've been set up to fail basically the majority of life and they don't even know how to get out, or they don't even have the wherewithal or wherewithal means, or they're not in the right environment where they can actually literally thrive and actually take advantage of their situation. These things unfortunately have happened before. And there could be like other cases where they could be actually extremely depressed, so much so they really want to try and take all their anger on innocent people, or God forbid do something heinous towards innocent people to the point of unfortunately unaliving them. And those are the people that actually cause these things to happen. I do not have any sympathy for them at this point, because again, they're actually taking their anger and their tarnishment and their devilment off of people that actually had nothing to do with you. Or it could be that they could have like some sort of pressure due to the fact that they can't even act in evil nature, due to whatever they were doing, and they're finally being held accountable, and they don't want to really fully held accountable due to the fact of their evil nature has been exposed literally for the whole world to see, and they literally are panicking and running away like cowards. Okay, that could be like another factor in like why certain people actually choose to actually commit suicide in that way. Which in the latter's case, I would not feel bad for these types of people at all. You know, let them have the universal karma if they will. Right. But again, the common causes of suicide, from what we know, is mainly depression. All right. Some form of trauma, and it can be another way to really avoid accountability from evil doing that's actually gone wrong, or fear that you don't want to actually try to face any repercussions literally whatsoever. And to those who are actually dealing with like some extreme depression, again, there's no size fits all, and there's some cases where they can have like a very depressive, traumatized moment and they don't even come back from it, which is literally a sin and a shame. And to try and conclude what I actually want to actually discuss when it comes to this matter is, if you're actually currently suffering from anxiety and depression, no matter what circumstance you're in, if you actually want to try and do the best you can to actually help yourself and actually try to reform your life, the number one step that I suggest you guys thoroughly do is thoroughly look in the mirror and actually seek therapy as best as you can. Find a actual therapist to literally help you on your issues. This one I had to deal with when I was dealing with my childhood. Okay. Get the help you need. Seek a therapist if you can, if you're able to afford to get one, or if your insurance is able to actually give you one, provide you that. Or if you're not able to actually afford any of those resources, go seek the CDC, go call local hotlines, whether it's like a local, one in your city, one in your state. They'll be able to actually help you provide the therapist that you need just to get you by. So you'll be able to actually discuss all those issues, so that they'll at least be able to give you a roadmap of where you need to go to literally reform. And more specifically, try to pick a therapist that could literally best suit your needs, and try to definitely rate to your issues given to your circumstances. That's basically number one. Number two, come up with like a very good, strong plan of learning how to practice discernment on who you taking advice from. Okay, see if they actually are very experienced in their field. If they really start to stray away from their little core mission, and they don't really have that much thorough detail in what they mainly do, even though they do have the experience, right? Even though they may have the knowledge per se. They may have the knowledge, right? Or they may have learned some knowledge and done a lot of studying. The question is, do they literally have the experience to literally talk about the stuff that they're doing, or do they have like the background? Do they have like the vetting process of street cred, basically on how handling these types of issues and how to literally communicate said goals? And if they don't, even though they have the knowledge, these are people you should not be trusting at all. These are the people that you should literally be walking away from, really as soon as possible, before they get you soaked up in their little cult. Right? If you catch, your idolized guru, man or woman, into some controversy or into some contradictions, or whenever they get pressed in certain challenges, they literally start complaining and whining and literally acting like numbskulls and literally the whole 9 yards, and they start literally going berserk for no reason at all, just because they can't even try and find a counter argument to actually try to defend their claim. It shows they lack a cause up in that subject. It shows they lack of confidence based on the needs that they're actually trying to deliver. And they are also not even the right fit for you to really seek advice from when it comes to trying to improve your life, when it comes to self-improvement. Run! Okay? Another situation, it could be like when it comes to depression, when it comes to finance and everything. Again, therapy, then come with a strategy, and also to add that off, try and get yourself as active as you can and try and produce some endorphins in your system that you'll be able to literally calm down more and not be as anxious as you do before. And also, most importantly, get yourself active, get yourself open, get yourself communicating, literally talking with people, so that you'll be able to actually try to ask some questions on certain issues that they deal with, so that you'll be able to build some rapport and get more comfortable and actually get rid of your anxiety approaches and all these other things. And learn from other folks and what they have done, and see if they actually vet on what those gurus are saying, because the real world is not fully black and white as, a lot of folks claim to be. And I've learned that the hard way personally. Okay? But again, vet thoroughly. Take yourself the time to actually spend a lot of time with yourself to try and know what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. seek therapy, okay, from the from a therapist, whatever therapist it is, whether it could be like some psychiatrist that you could actually try to relate to, that you actually try to build with, and as long as that psychiatrist thoroughly respects you, you know, you guys could literally be good to go. And most importantly, practice proper discernment from the idols that you actually idolize and see if they are legit or not. And I'm going to leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Again, for more information regarding to statistics and all this other stuff on suicide, please check on the CDC for more information. They'll be able to actually dig into more details when it comes to that. And also be very careful of those final numbers because they could be misleading. Not everyone actually partook in the survey of the U.S. Census Bureau at all. And those numbers could be deceived on whether or not they're actual suicides or not, or they could be like a trap that can actually come by. Not saying the majority of the suicides are false. I'm not saying that. But a few to some of those cases could be a little bit sketchy. So you may want to tread lightly and try to dig into the why. All right. Good night, y'all.